Alright guys, real quick, just going to use this opportunity to shill my other platforms. You can find all my links on my Linktree page. The main pages I'm going to be using other than YouTube are going to be Minds, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, and Truth Social. So if you guys want to give me a follow over on those other platforms, I'd really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, this was a good game. This was a very good Eagles game. As you guys know, I really thought the Eagles were going to lose this one. I don't know why. I just had a bad feeling about the Vikings. Kirk Cousins has always been just one of those players when it comes to the Eagles, probably just due to his long tenure with the Redskins, that he's just a player that I'm kind of afraid of in like a Fitzpatrick kind of way. But the Eagles got it done, 24-7, guys. The score is a little misleading because a lot of these points were scored early game, but then it just became kind of a war of attrition. But there was a lot of turnovers. And keep in mind, I am referencing an article today, link in the description as always, but I'm actually on the Vikings website for this because I kind of wanted to get the Vikings side more than the Eagles side. That's something I'm probably going to start doing more with football, is instead of just covering just the Eagles perspective, the official Eagles perspective, I'm going to check like the opposing team if they win or lose just to see what they're saying. But anyway, we will get right into this video. This is titled "The Vikings-Eagles Game Observations, Rough Night in Philly." And it just opens up with some stats here. It says Philadelphia outgained Minnesota 223-83, and this is in the first half they're referring to, which is pretty impressive. I must say that's one of my biggest surprises is Jalen Hurts is looking like the real deal. I was worried about him, but you know, we had Wentz before, so I wasn't really happy with Wentz either. But yeah, Hurts is looking like a much better option than Wentz. However, like I said, the concern with quarterbacks like Hurts is the injury issue is always on your mind when they're running in for touchdowns and all that. But it says the Eagles marched 82 yards easily in their opening drive, and this was a drive that ended in a Jalen Hurts touchdown. It says Hurts racked up 157 yards on an 8-11 passing for a passer rating of 145.1. And that's another thing I'm really liking about Hurts is that he's running out of the pocket, but he's very accurate. I mean, he was spreading the ball around very well too. He threw to like Zach Pascal. He was throwing to AJ Brown. You know, of course, Devontae Smith. There was even a couple passes to Kenneth Gainwell. You know, he just, unlike Wentz, he's very good at spreading the ball. Because I remember Wentz, it was always the worry of like, okay, he's going to read Ertz, but then after Ertz, it's like, what is he going to do? And Alshon Jeffrey was even frustrated by this because when Nick Foles would play, you know, Nick Foles would kind of spread the ball around and get it to Torrey Smith. This was like the Super Bowl year, but like Torrey Smith and all them. And so I'm just really glad to see a quarterback like Hurts that's he reminds me a lot of Donovan McNabb, like I've said in the past. He's just very good at both the rush attack, but he's also very accurate passer is what I am now finding out. But to continue, yeah, the article starts with the first point. It says erratic night for the offense, and I'm not really going to read all this stuff verbatim. I'll just kind of give my comments. It's essentially talking about Kirk Cousins' 3 overall interceptions in the game, and the first one occurring. He was trying to throw to Justin Jefferson. This has been a big meme of the game, which I agree. Darius Slay, he was always on my mind before the game even started that he was going to make a huge impact, and Justin Jefferson got picked off by Darius Slay. That is the image of the video you are seeing. I think this is actually the image from the end of the game. He had 2 interceptions, but the first one was just as great because the Vikings struggle. They would get to the end zone, the red zone, and then they would just, you know, turn the ball over. So it was very good defense. And I'm going to skip all the way to the 4th bullet point here because this one was funny. I actually really wanted to talk about this because Jalen Reagor, as you guys know, he was talking a lot of crap during the week about how he wants revenge and all this stuff from the Eagles. You know, like I said, Jalen Reagor, I think he has potential. However, in Philadelphia, the dude was an absolute dud. We already know this now. The Eagles should have drafted Justin Jefferson. It's completely ironic that both of these players end up on the Vikings now. But, you know, again, maybe we don't get Devontae Smith if we get Justin Jefferson. So it is what it is. But for him to get all mad that the Eagles traded him, it's like, dude, you had your shot for like 2 years. You were like one of the premier wide receivers. I remember when he was drafted with Jalen Hurts, they were talking about the 2 Jalens and all this stuff. So it's not like the Eagles and the fans didn't embrace this guy. but he still, you know, was upset, as is football. But this was hilarious. The Vikings tried to do some kind of trick play where they gave it to Rager and he rushed it. He got like 17 yards, I think was the stat. But the funniest thing was he just got booed, and he was wearing a black visor. I can't remember if he was wearing black visors when he played in Philadelphia. Yeah, no, looking up the picture of him, it looks like he did not really wear black visors in Philadelphia. So that was really funny because he was obviously wearing that so that he could like hide his face in shame. That's what I took away from that. But yeah, the game was. I was at the gym at the time, so I watched the highlights later. But the game was looking pretty good. It was like 14-0, and there was that beautiful pass to Quez Watkins. Sorry, I always get that guy's name wrong, but that was a great catch. Just 53-yard pass. He just dropped that. That was one of those like floater balls. I always love those passes where, you know, they just float right into the wide receiver's hands and just completely effortless. You know, again, to give Wentz a lot of credit, he was very good at that during 2017. And then Russell Wilson has always been good at passes like that. So yeah, that's one of my biggest takeaways from this game, guys, is I'm very optimistic about Jalen Hurts going forward if he can continue to stay healthy, because the kid looks really good. Because the next touchdown by Hurts was absolutely fantastic. Again, it reminded me of early Wentz, where he just does freakish things that nobody expects. Hurts went for a rush, and he basically blew through like 3 tackles and landed right in the end zone. So 21-7 Eagles. It was pretty impressive to see that. But then, yeah, this is when the game kind of, like I said, became a battle of attrition. The Eagles got the explosive start, and they secured the win, and the defense held its ground. The Eagles managed to get a field goal, but like I said, the game ended 24-7, and Kirk Cousins had 3 interceptions. And then this was a second article that I wanted to get into. This is on WDEL.com, which I will also leave linked down below. And this is just going over the interceptions because, yeah, Darius Slay was, in my opinion, he was the star of this game. Other than the Quez Watkins touchdown, which was very impressive, Darius Slay was just all over the field. And then, of course, my boy Avonte Maddox. I always loved that guy ever since the Eagles got him. He had an amazing pick as well where he jumped up and grabbed it. So just an overall terrorizing game for Kirk Cousins, which this is the kind of Kirk Cousins you get. You can get the Kirk Cousins on the Redskins that used to just beat us all up and down with Deshaun Jackson from the past. Or you get this kind of Kirk Cousins, which is on the Vikings, and he throws 3 interceptions. So you never know which kind of Kirk Cousins you're going to get. Again, like I said, he's a scary quarterback because he's completely random. He can be absolutely amazing, or he can be an absolute dud. Luckily for the Eagles, the defense was way too much for him this time, even though the Vikings are completely loaded with the likes of Thielen, Rager, and Jefferson, in my opinion. Like I said, I still think Rager is a good receiver if he could get his act together. It reminds me again a lot of Nelson Aguilar. It's like the potential's there, but it's like, will he ever do it? But anyway, guys, that's kind of my overall thoughts of the game. I think the Eagles' defense is one of the funnest things to watch this season, and that's what I'm most excited for now. However, this offense is extremely explosive and just a lot more loaded than I thought. I mean, you've got Devontae Smith, Zach Pascal, Dallas Goedert, Kenneth Gainwell. Like I said, I love Kenneth Gainwell when they drafted him. Miles Sanders. They've got a lot, guys, and then they're consistently ranked, from what I'm seeing, as the top O-line in the league, and that did kind of show this time. There was very few cracks in that O-line. Hurts was running around, but again, I think that's just kind of his play style. He's a very mobile quarterback, and so that's just what we got to get used to in Philadelphia, and hopefully we'll get more of a Russell Wilson where his longevity proves over time, and less of a Carson Wentz even as far as injuries go. So that's the video, guys. Very optimistic about the Eagles going forward. They are 2-0, and we play the Commies, as I'm going to call them, next. Again, it's going to be a very fun game because it's going to be against Carson Wentz. And then after that, I think we play the Jaguars. So we got Wentz and Doug Peterson coming up. So let me know what you guys thought about the game. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe for more. And also, please like this. It really helps the algorithm on YouTube. And then, as always, if you guys haven't followed me on those alternate tech platforms yet, please make sure that you do that, as I will be making a lot more spicy content. A lot of the stuff will go on YouTube, but, it's just an insurance policy in case YouTube ever decides to, delete my channel one day for being too controversial. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. This has been Jigsaw0097. I will talk to you all later.